Paris and promised to rebuild the central scientific establishment decapitated during the Terror, Cuvier moved to the capital in search of a career in science. There were plenty of openings for a naturalist of his obvious brilliance and driving ambition. Cuvier gained an assistantship at the renowned Museum of Natural History and never looked back. His subsequent rise was meteoric. The study of natural history would never be the same. Cuvier concentrated his scientific research on the burgeoning field of comparative anatomy. He was convinced that the internal structure of an animal revealed its function and therefore its true nature. In biology, as in all else, form followed function for Cuvier. His research profited greatly from his position at the world's premier natural history museum, an institution that rapidly became ever more comprehensive in its zoological holdings as Napoleon's armies plundered the collections of Europe and sent home live, preserved, and fossilized specimens from as far afield as Russia and Egypt. Ultimately, Cuvier proposed that there are four, but only four, basic anatomical types. He called them embranchements of animals: vertebrates with backbones, mollusks with shells, articulates such as insects, and radiates such as starfish. Lesser divisions, he wrote, are only modifications superficially founded on development or on the addition of certain parts, but which in no way change the essence of the plan. This view, built solidly on anatomical analysis and still reflected with modifications in modern taxonomy, shattered the hierarchical concept dating from Aristotle of a single great chain of beings rising in fine gradations from the simplest living form to humans at its top. The idea within biology of seeing an anthropomorphic order in all living things gave way to studying them on their own terms. Cuvier was the first naturalist to have at his disposal a suitably complete collection of the world's mammals, past and present, to make definitive distinctions among them. He made the most of this advantage, hoarding it to himself, his collaborators, and his protégés. In 1796, for example, he announced that, based on his anatomical comparisons of actual specimens, the elephants of India and Africa constituted two distinct species, and that both of them differed from the elephant-like mammoth found only in fossil remains. The positive identification of other living and extinct mammals followed one after another in rapid succession. To account for so many extinct species, as early as 1796, Cuvier announced the existence of a world previous to ours, destroyed by some kind of catastrophe. Before Cuvier, European naturalists typically held that no species, all of them perfect in their original creation, ever died out. Fossils had no fundamental significance. Such things were simply sports of nature or remnants of some still-living species. Overturning this view, Cuvier ultimately concluded that all fossilized animals differed in kind from modern ones, and that no modern species existed in truly fossil form. He boldly claimed the power to burst the limits of time, and by some observations of fossils, to recover the history of the world, and the succession of events that preceded the birth of the human species. Suddenly, life had a history different from the present, and fossil fragments revealed it. As a new species of antiquarian, Cuvier explained, I have had to reconstruct the ancient beings to which these fragments belonged, to reproduce them in their proportions and characters, and finally to compare them to those that live today. The modern science of paleontology was born in Cuvier's laboratory. Because of his conviction that the form of any animal precisely served its functional needs, Cuvier confidently assumed that trained researchers could, in principle, reconstruct its entire structure from any one of its functional parts. Paleontologists could do for extinct animals what comparative anatomists did for living ones.